they can come up with a machine that can stop you shitting yourself at a concert. There we go.
Finally,
back
we're
to
back.
normal. Hello and welcome to our midweek episode of our 2 Pints with Will and Ralf. And like I said, our other series then.
I know.
And this is what you've all been waiting for all week, obviously.
This is what, I mean, I wake up every Monday morning just going, what will William tell?
On a Wednesday.
On a Wednesday.
Getting ready, it's coming in.
Yeah,
And today, it is your episode of What Will William Tell? Cue the music. Okay, this week on What Will William Tell, this is something that I'm interested in, right? It's about boxing.
Oh, okay.
I love boxing.
I know.
My dad was a boxer. My uncle boxed for England. I boxed a bit when I was younger, and I love the boxing. Anyway, I
didn't know your uncle boxed for England.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, boxed for his country. Yeah, my uncle said. Yeah, he boxed a fighter who fought Muhammad Ali and beat him. So anyway,
beat Muhammad Ali.
No, he didn't beat Muhammad Ali, but he beat the bloke who
who fought Muhammad Ali.
Anyway, yeah, but I think his name was Nan Curvis.
Maybe he got battered by Muhammad Ali.
If I
fought a bloke who Muhammad Ali kick the shit out of, and I beat that bloke, that doesn't mean
it doesn't matter.
Okay, right, go on. Sorry.
There's a connection somewhere.
Yeah,
but
no,
anyway,
that's cool. Yeah.
No, but I come from a family of boxers, and I grew up watching boxing, and I love it. And now I watch it with my son, and he loves it. And I listen. Anyway, there was something that popped up on my phone because my algorithms are always about boxing fights and stuff, and it was this, and this is something that really happened, and what intrigues me is I want to hear your response to this.
Okay.
Boxer Sugar Ray Robinson backed out of a fight because he had a dream that he was going to kill his opponent in the ring. After a priest and a minister convinced Robinson to fight, told him it was going to be fine, Robinson went on into the fight and killed his opponent, Jimmy Doyle. How do you explain that? He had a premonition that he was going to fight this guy and kill him, and he pulled out the fight. And then someone convinced him, the priest, and said, "Everything's going to be fine." He went on and did the fight and killed him.
Do you want a serious answer, or do you want me to take the piss?
Why are you taking a piss?
Well, do you want like a joke answer? Or
what I'm saying is,
if you're saying how do I explain that?
No, what I'm saying is because from our series that we did when we went, Will and Ralf Should Know Better, we went to the haunted house, so which is you're quite a scientific person, and I'm just saying, do we have a chance of do we know everything that our brain can do? Can we foresee not the future, but it is the future, but can we have a sense of what could happen? Is that possible that we can do that? Like a sixth sense?
No.
Right. So that's just coincidence.
It's a very short What Will William Tell.
Right.
Do you want a serious?
You just tell me what you think.
Okay.
Someone's died here, Ralph. You can take the smile off your face.
It was a long time ago.
No, go on.
Okay, this is what I think. Things like, there is some evidence to say that things like Deja Vu and stuff like that.
What is that, by the way? That's weird, isn't it?
It's when the Matrix glitches. You know that. It's when they change something.
Wow. I know you don't believe that.
Yeah, no. There's some evidence like our brains are incredibly sophisticated, and sometimes they're like early warning systems. It's like if you think about when we're evolving and we were, nomadic hunter-gatherers and whatever, and we had to evolve. Cavemen, if you like, and we evolved from primate, from chimps. Noticing danger, like recognizing patterns in. So imagine like a jungle, seeing like a load of trees and whatever. Those individuals that saw like faces, is why we see shapes and faces in clouds and stuff. We have this incredible capacity to conjure faces where there aren't any, which is not just about now, it's sort of like creative and imaginative, but evolutionarily speaking, that's because if you were an individual and then your genes got passed on and that became like a more dominant trait, if you walked through the jungle and you were like, Jesus, that looks like a that could be a lion, or it could be and you saw that thing, then chances are you're gonna survive. So those individuals survive longer. So our brains have incredible like pattern recognition software, danger recognition software, and so on. So like if you deja vu is sort of is an echo of that. It's going, I feel like I've seen this before, and a lot of that they think can be because it's like, I feel like I've seen this before, and could that be? It's your brain sort of scanning for where there could be danger. That's deja vu. Now stuff like premonitions and stuff.
Yeah.
What you're talking about in this,
it's unbelievable. I mean, it is unbelievable because the ratio of people dying in the boxing ring, even though it is a very dangerous sport, isn't massive.
Yeah, no, it is unbelievable. In terms of if you look at it from that statistic, you go, well, there's not many people die in boxing, and you had this premonition. But what statistic you don't have at your fingertips is how many people have a premonition that they're going to kill someone, they're going to get run over, and then it doesn't happen.
Right.
And that runs into the millions, billions.
Yes. So the time it does happen,
we all remember it. Because it's an amazing story.
That's a very good point.
And it is an amazing story. It's going, you had a premonition and then priest, and then it happened. You go, well, it must be true.
So
it's
you think a lot of boxers go into the ring thinking, I could kill this man because it's a potential.
Who knows about boxing? That's a very specific thing. But, people have premonitions all the time. That like, I really feel like something bad's going to happen. I really feel like people who are scared of flying, I really feel like something's going to go wrong with the plane. And then you don't remember the times it doesn't. Yeah. And then you hear a story of someone go,
I knew it was going to happen.
I knew that was going to happen. And then the plane crashed. You remember that story because that plays into our evolutionary development of going spot danger, recognize patterns and whatever.
Yeah, that's very clever. I quite like that.
Yeah, the dear.
Well, no, because it makes sense to me. Because, we've spoke before about things, and I love to believe in stuff. I like to have an open mind, but I'm also open to knowledge of if you can explain it, then I'm with you. I'm on board. Yeah. And there's been people for years, as we know, who predicted the world was going to end, and they predicted this, and terrormongering, and this is going to happen on this day, and then it doesn't.
Like, well, look at this that happened, and then that happened, and then that happened, and so this is definitely going to happen, and then it doesn't. Everyone was like, okay, well, maybe not this time, but next time. It's like everyone forgets the predictions that don't come true. Yeah. So if you make 100 and one comes true, it's like, that was amazing. Yeah. That's why, in our game, in what we do, storytelling, like a good film or a good story or whatever, that's why. That's why you can. There are books and screenplay. How to write a perfect screenplay. That's why good stories have a structure, and there's variations within that structure. But there's very, very often a good story is this happened, then this, then this, then this, then this, and it follows a structure of somebody's missing something. Like if it's Luke Skywalker, he's poor and he's missing his parents, and he feels like he's destined for something more. Or Harry Potter. Harry Potter and Star Wars are basically the same story. One's with magic and one's with structurally speaking, yeah. Like an orphan who's treated not very well by his uncle and auntie, and always felt that there was something more. Then a mysterious person from another world comes in and goes, "You're actually magical." It's kind of all the same story. Yeah. There is a reason why these stories. So if I was to tell you a story of like a young orphan boy discovers he has magical powers and goes on adventures, that's not a very good story. But the Harry Potter story, to take one, it follows a structure, and we don't need to go into. I'm not going to break down Harry Potter's screenplay structure to you or novel structure to you. But what's interesting is the reason good stories all follow really quite closely, surprisingly, a particular structure is not because we're all boring, but we've evolved specifically to be. It's hardwired into us to engage with certain narratives and certain stories, and that comes from literally from our survival, the evolution of our survival from when we were chimps. Yeah. So that's why we're good storytellers, and that is why propaganda works rather than statistics. If I was to pick up a thing and show you and like, look at this statistic, look how many of it, you'd be like, that's boring. Perfect example, your story about Sugar Ray Robinson, or was it Leonard? That story about Sugar Ray Robinson captures your imagination because it's a story.
And it happened.
It's happened, but it's a great story. It's got narrative. It's like, man dreamt this, decided he couldn't do it, was convinced by other people, then did it, then the worst thing that could happen came true. There's a narrative structure to that. Whereas a story, 100 people dream they're gonna kill someone and none of them did. Yeah, it's not a story.
So it doesn't get passed on to no one.
It doesn't get passed on because it doesn't get.
I do think we have
our imaginations are captured by our survival mechanism.
But I do think there's more to us than we know. I mean, our brains, we only know so much of what our brain can do. We don't use all of our brain, right?
I know you don't.
Yeah, no, I use every sense of mine.
It's not that big.
No, but our brains all work differently. You know what I mean? That's why everyone does different jobs. You know what I mean? I'm very creative and do what I do. And then there's people who work in offices who I couldn't do, and they do that. And there's people like Stephen Fry, who's an absolute genius, and he's on the spectrum, but he's an absolute genius with the way his brain works.
People who are just good with numbers. I don't mean math geniuses. I mean, that's obvious. But just people who are good with like finance and stuff. It just bores the tits off me. As soon as we're talking about mortgages and returns, but people are kind of, they're really into that. Go, well, I get this percentage return and then this and this investment. Like, that's not my world. I'm not interested. I just tune out as soon as it comes to me.
But I'm saying is, what I'm talking about is if we could, I mean, there was a film called, I think it's called Phenomenon.
Yeah, you've talked about it before.
Talked about it before. Where if you can, and it's about John Travolta, and he suddenly sees a light in the sky, it knocks him off his feet one night. Comes out of a bar on his birthday, and then he suddenly can do these amazing things. Yeah. And I don't want to give away the spoiler of what happens in that, but it's more scientific than it is an alien ship. It's like
we're going to wrap this up in a minute, but I have something that might surprise you, right? Because I think you've assumed that I'm going to be like, nah, bollocks, whatever. But it's a misconception that people that scientists. I am not a scientist. I just like science, and I probably think more like a scientist than an artist. Weirdly, given my job, but it's a misconception that it's like scientists are very, very black and white, and sort of set in a rigid set of rules. It's not that. The whole point of the scientific method is going, we don't know, but from all the evidence we've got, this is the best guess, this is the best theory, and we can test that theory. And until we know better, that is the theory we go with, but we might always know better. Yeah. That's very different than going, well, we don't know, therefore it could be if it's about religion, it could be a giant man in the sky or whatever. So in answer to what you're saying, no, we don't know what the human brain's capable of. Is it possible that actually, if you unlock the full potential of the brain, we could all do telekinesis?
Possibly.
No, I'm not going to sit here and go, absolutely not. It feels unlikely, but no one's going to go, absolutely not. Who fucking knows? Maybe.
Yeah. Well, but what does the future hold? You know what I mean? In medicine, can they open up your brains to do more stuff?
But what I can tell you is, it's never happened yet.
No.
And nor has telepathy. But
no.
I don't know. Maybe in 200 years we'll have quantum computers wired into our brains.
Well,
and we'll be able to do it all.
To wrap up, I think I saw something the other day, and you never know with social media now or anything that comes up on your phone. Is it true? Is it not true? And
it's usually a good bet that it isn't.
Yeah, it's usually
especially with AI. You look at that and just go, that can't be real. Invariably,
I'm sure I just heard that they have found a way now that they can project an image into the brain of a blind person so they can see. There's a new technology that they found that they're going to be able to make people see. So I'm saying, with the technology we got, who says we can't open up more?
I want to talk about this,
I don't know.
We're kind of at the end of our.
I know, but you know what I'm saying.
William Tell. Have we got time to talk about it? Should we do it in the next one?
Well, yeah, there's more I want to talk about.
I want to pick this up in the next episode because I actually think that we're onto something, and we haven't made any dick jokes for about 13 minutes, so we're on a bit of a roll.
I wonder if they could come up with a machine that can stop you shitting yourself at a concert. There we go.
Finally,
back
we're
to
back.
normal.
There we go. That was this week's What Will William Tell. We'll pick this conversation up in our next episode.
Thank you.